Kandarvika Giridhari Shishe Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutarashita Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Guru Dev ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutarashita Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutarashita Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just close that. Okay, sorry. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutarashita Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutarashita Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nuvakorya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Vridhata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa ki jai. Jai Shri all the periodicals of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. The chief editor of Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj ki jai, who at that time was Sri Pranavananda Brahmachari jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Swaparshad Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, and Kishore Prabhu. Śrīvāsa is not here yet. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try calling him. Anyhow, maybe I can just start reading it without him, because I do have the file, and then hopefully he comes soon. Oh. Okay. He's now seeing my messages. I think he's coming soon. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, Haribo Champak Mataji. All right. Okay, so Shiva said, yes, please start without him. Okay. So I'm just sharing my screen, and I haven't read any of these yet. Yeah, so this is the first article, Bhakti na Bhukti. And this one, I think this is published, I think I wrote it in the comments. Let's see. This was published, this issue of Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa was published sometime mid-March in the year 1928. This is year 3, issue 10. It's difficult to figure out what day it was because it gives the Bengali date there, and anyhow, I think that was correct. All right, so Bhakti na Bhukti. Let's begin. Hopefully Śrīvāsa turns up soon. Okay, this is how I can't make it any bigger, but I think this is clear enough, right? Bhakti means service, and Bhukti is indulgence. Bhagavad Bhakti refers to Sri Bhagavan's service. Depending on varying degrees of eligibility, service to Bhagavan is of many varieties. The Kanishta Adhikari gains satisfaction only in serving the Vigraha, but it is necessary to ponder what degree of eligibility is possessed by those who make a business of the Vigraha. These sorts of people are everywhere, but especially in places renowned to be holy pilgrimage sites, there is an abundance of them. People who make a business of the Vigraha. Many question whether or not they are actual servants of the Vigraha. Before providing an answer to this, the question needs to be carefully evaluated. Seva refers to relinquishing one's only desires for enjoyment and engaging in activities for the Lord's pleasure. One's service will be hindered as much as one's desire for enjoyment remains. The most detestable behavior is to use the Lord in one's own service, to appropriate the ingredients of the Lord's service for oneself. Wherever we see deceptive service like this going on, we will not accept that as actual service or condone it. We will not support that with donations. Why? Because there is no service there. The donations given in those who are not only donations given in those places are not only fruitless, but because they go to support ignoble pursuits, they generate the foul fruit of seva aparad. This sort of association that of those who proudly fancy themselves as servants is to be relinquished. I'm going to try to make this text bigger. Let's see if this works. Okay. There is a story in this context that comes to mind. Babu was at work all day at the office, getting tormented by his boss. When he came home, his wife was busy in the kitchen. Babu was hungry, so he gave his servant, Ram Sharan, a quarter and told him to bring 4 pieces of sandesh. After changing his clothes and washing his hands and face, Babu saw that Ram Sharan had returned and brought just 1 piece of sandesh. Babu was somewhat upset when he saw this. He was frightfully hungry, and he had spent money to remedy that. But what he wanted had not come. Angrily, he asked him, "What happened, you fool? I gave you a quarter and you brought only 1 sandesh?" His servant answered abruptly, "Yes, sir. It's a long story. You're quite hungry right now. Leave it for now. I'll tell you everything later." "Later?" Babu exclaimed. "You rascal, tell me what happened to the other 3 sandesh, or I'll break your head open." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then I have to tell you everything. But Babu, if you will not be angry, I may speak without fear. Okay, speak. As you wish. So I have never seen you use or partake of poor quality items of any sort. So I had to see if the sweet seller had given me good sweets or bad sweets. I couldn't bring them to you without testing them. So I tasted one. So I tasted one and yes, it was good. What a devil you are. I told you to buy something. Did I tell you to eat them? Okay, whatever. That one was gone. And the other 2? Well, sir, I think of you as my mother and father. How could I risk becoming an enemy to you? How could I give you 3 of something to eat, as to do so is believed to instigate feelings of enmity towards one who has served the food? Yeah, in Bengal, you can't give 3 of anything. Can't give 1 and you can't give 3. So, never odd numbers. So I couldn't just give you 3. I was at a loss what to do when, with great difficulty, one idea came to mind. I put 1 more in my mouth and solved the problem of 3 and was left with 2. Sir, how could I become your enemy? Son, son, look at how devoted you are. Look at how much you love me. Is that why you eat what I'm about to put in my mouth? Okay, fine. So then there were two left. What happened to the other one, you swine? If you command me to, then I will tell you. Whenever you eat, you keep some leftovers for me. So I just ate that preemptively. I knew I was just eating what I was due, and you are so kind. So I thought you would not be mad. Son eats prasad before bhog, like all the bogus bhaktas. Son, you have mentioned you ate the first two, but how did you eat the last one? Sir, I am more than willing to show you. Look, Babu, don't get mad. You asked, so I'm showing you. I ate it just like this. And saying this, that devoted servant popped the fourth sandesh in his mouth as well, showing how he had eaten the other three. What happened after? What happened after that is not relevant to the topic of this article, so I will not elaborate. Now look, respected readers, what kind of relationship is between is this between master and servant? Jiva Nitya Krishna Das, the soul of an eternal servant of Krishna. Forgetting that, wearing the noose of Maya around its neck, it is determined to cheat Krishna, cheat itself and others. In this moment, consider this consider this for yourselves. In the context of seva, of deity worship, is this sort of deity business actual service to the Lord, or simply a means to achieve one's own enjoyment? We will not answer this again and become the object of a certain class of people's displeasure. We do not want to offend anyone. We are neutral. You decide. Is this bhakti or bhukti? That was a great article. That was a great article. And Śrīvāsa is here with us now.
Haribo, sorry, I was
Haribo.
busy eating some sandesh.
All right. Yeah, and I forgot to remind you about the reading. I just sent you a message like 1 minute before we went live, so that was also my fault. But,
That was funny.
It's a good article, huh?
yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna use that. All right, so you wanna, yeah, can take it away. Read the next one. Do you have any
So the
kind of
next
feeling
one,
of who wrote this one, or yeah, do you have any kind of
who wrote this
guesses?
one? Well, it's interesting. The one I'm working on right now is definitely by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And so I've started to go back and cross-reference with the Gaudiya to try and see which ones are his. So far, I found 3 that are his. And he does use a lot of like stories like this, parables, right?
Upakani Upadesh.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So actually, I think a lot of times some of these first initial articles are from him. I think actually a lot of the material is directly from Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, maybe adapted from his classes,
Mhm.
but it's hard to say exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Can you allow
And
that?
this is continuing on from the last issue, right? We're just going in order, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Can you share let me share
Oops,
the
sorry.
screen?
I forgot to do that. Sorry. Okay, now you can do it. Could you imagine this coming out every single day, a new like exciting article with all these? This is just like this is just an everyday thing that we're reading right now. It's not like something that they get once a month, or this is every day. They get all this nectar. It's just amazing
Yeah.
how generous our acharyas are.
Yeah, and I am starting to see how much what a huge contribution Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj made through this. The issue I was working on, it's like a special issue So it's like 3 times as long as a regular issue. And he's writing about kind of what he's kind of very humbly, very beautifully, very eloquently speaking about kind of why he was given the title Pratna Vidyalankar. Pratna has to do with like ancient knowledge or like archaeology. And so it seems to be because of this issue with the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, whereas the real birthplace of Mahaprabhu, and all the research he had to do for that, the service that he had to do. He says, even though I'm unqualified, my Guru Varga is very qualified on this topic. And, I'm just kind of representing them. So there's actually a lot of writing from Srila Bhaktivinoda Puri Maharaj. Yeah,
Wow.
and different notes and direct articles. And yeah.
Wow, I can't wait till we get there in our readings.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and by the way, everybody, this is, we decided to make this every Sunday, this
Yes.
program. So it's going to be a lot more frequent now. Don't need to think of which Sunday we're doing it. This every Sunday.
Yeah, I was myself, I was like forgetting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Jayataha. Shri Shri Mayapur Purana Chandrodaya. The rising full moon of Shri Mayapur. Continued from last issue. So, as soon as Nimāi began walking, the Lakshmi of his Balya Leela, childhood pastimes, revealed herself to be extremely restless. Nimāi would go out of the house by himself. Various people would become captivated with the boy's beauty and give him sandesh, bananas, etc. The boy would give all those items as prasad to please the Navadvīpa ladies who did Hari Kirtan. Sometimes he would go to the homes of his friends and eat yogurt, milk, rice, etc., without the homeowner's knowledge. Sometimes he would break things in someone's house and flee unseen. Everyone would forget all their complaints the moment they saw his moon-like face. One day, Shachi Devi gave Nimāi koi sandesh, which is puffed rice, jaggery, and went to do her housework. But instead of eating the koi sandesh, the boy ate several clumps of dirt. Seeing this, Shachi grabbed the dirt out of the boy's hand. The child Nimāi gave his mother a very philosophical response to her admonishments, saying, "There's no difference between puffed rice, sandesh, rice, etc., and dirt. They're all transformations of dirt. The soul's bodies and what they eat are all dirt." Hearing this, Shachi said, "Even though everything in the world is a transformation of dirt, there is a difference between dirt and certain transformations it has, between what is edible and what is not. If you eat the transformation of dirt that is rice, your body will be nourished. But if you eat dirt, you'll get sick. You can carry water in a clay pot, which is a transformation of dirt. But if you try to bring water in a clump of clay, it will absorb all the water." Nimāi was delighted to hear this response of his mother. Through this interaction, he taught the living entities to relinquish the one-sided perspective of dry renunciates and embrace the devotee's discernment of favorable and unfavorable in the holistic attitude of service via yukta vairagya. One day, a Brahmin devotee of Gopal, who was traveling the holy places, arrived in the Mishra house in Sri Mayapur as a guest, and Sri Jagannath Mishra, who was keen on serving Vaishnavas, provided him with all the ingredients to cook a meal. The Brahmin cooked and was about to offer the bhoga to Gopal in his meditation when Nimāi came and began eating the meal the Brahmin had prepared. On Mishra's request, the guest Brahmin put aside the food Nimāi had touched and cooked a second time. But again, the same thing happened as he sat to meditate and make the offering. On the entreaty of Vishwarup, the Brahmin pilgrim then cooked a third time This time, they made sure the boy Nimāi was inside the house and could not get out. Nimāi even pretended to fall asleep. It was late at night. By Gaurhari's desire, Nidra Devi, the goddess of sleep, became a guest upon the corners of everyone's eyes, and, preoccupied with greeting that new guest of sleep, they forgot all about the pilgrim. It was just then that the Brahmin pilgrim was once again attempting to meditate and offer Gopal the foodstuffs he had prepared, when suddenly, from nowhere, Nimāi appeared for a third time and began eating the meal the Brahmin had offered. Foiled thus in his efforts, as if by fate, the Brahmin began to lament. So Nimāi manifested his four-armed and two-armed form to him and said, "O Brahmin, you are my eternal servant. When I had manifested my pastimes in Braj as the son of Nanda, there was an incident just like this with you. This time too, drawn by your devotion, I have shown myself to you." Upon seeing his worshipful Lord, the Brahmin became overwhelmed with ecstatic love and considered himself blessed to honor the Lord's remnant prasad. The Lord forbade the Brahmin pilgrim from revealing this secret pastime to anyone. Another day, Nimāi was decorated with golden ornaments and playing outside when two thieves decided to kidnap him and take all his ornaments. They gave him some sandesh and told him they were going to take him home. Nimāi spread a veil of illusion over them and made them lose their way. In this way, riding on their shoulders, he arrived back at his home. Bewildered by Vishnu's Maya, the two thieves placed Nimāi at the gate of the Mishra home, where his family was in anxiety about him, and then fled. About 1 crocus south of the Mishra home in Sri Mayapur is the home of Sri Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit. On Ekadashi day, a special offering was being made to Vishnu. When Nimāi expressed his desire to have that offering, Jagannath Mishra went to Hiranya and Jagadish's house to ask for the offering. When Hiranya and Jagadish heard of the child's request from Mishra's mouth, they were awestruck and said, "Today is Ekadashi, and we are making an offering to Vishnu, but how did the boy know this? Surely this child has some special Vaishnavi Shakti." With this conviction in mind, they sent the offerings for the boy Nimāi. It is impossible for an ordinary child to know what is going on so far away, but Gaur Sundar is omniscient. He manifested this pastime to show his mercy to his devotees and reveal himself to them, and to teach people that on the day of Ekadashi, only Bhagavan has the right to accept offerings. The Lakshmi of Nimāi's childhood pastimes gradually went from being restless to being very extremely restless. And it's such a beautiful turn of phrase, the Lakshmi of his pastime. So every phase of the Lord's Leela is actually a personified, can be seen as a personified Lakshmi. Every day, Shachi was receiving many complaints from many different sources. Sometimes Nimāi would manifest a pastime of extreme anger and break everything in his home. Sometimes he would hit his mother, and then, seeing his mother had fainted, he would become extremely anguished and go to great effort to retrieve a coconut to revive her with its water. Every day, when he went to bathe in the Ganga, he would flirt with the young girls there in a variety of ways. Sometimes he would see the elaborate offerings the girls made to worship Ganga and Shiva and say, "Ganga and Durga are my maidservants, and Mahesh is my slave." He would snatch flowers, garlands, sandalwood ointment, and food offerings from the girls and enjoy them himself, thus showing his mercy to them and establishing the supremacy of Vishnu. When he would come face to face with Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, their natural mutual love and delight in seeing each other would manifest. Vishwambar's elder brother, Vishwarup, was detached from birth, detached from material life, from birth. He remained aloof from the world that was maddened with material objects of enjoyment. Manifesting by example the teaching of staying in the association of Vaishnavas, hearing and chanting, he was almost always in Advaita's assembly in Sri Mayapur. Nimāi would regularly go on his mother's order to Advaita's assembly to bring Vishwarup home to have a meal. When the assembled Vaishnavas would see Sri Gaurasundar's extraordinary beauty, their hearts would be enchanted. After some time, Vishwarup unveiled his pastime of taking sannyas and left home, becoming renowned by the name Shankararanyam. After that, Nimāi retracted his pastimes of childhood frivolity and manifested a pastime of absorbing himself intensely in studies. Jagannath Mishra, however, was not able to be delighted with his son sobering and becoming absorbed in studying, because he was convinced that Vishwarup had realized the fleeting nature of the world through his study of scriptures, and therefore left home. Mishra feared that Nimāi would become educated and then follow his elder brother's footsteps. So Mishra put a halt to Nimai's studies. Nimāi then again began manifesting pastimes of being very unruly and restless. One day Nimāi went and sat on the rubbish heap of dirty clay pots behind his home. When Shachimata found out what he was doing, she asked him to come down from that impure spot and take bath. Nimāi told his mother, how can an uneducated person know what is good or bad, clean or unclean? Furthermore, if all these pots were used to cook for Vishnu, they can never be impure. Moreover, wherever Bhagavan sits is full of all sanctity. That place is the foundation of the Ganga and all holy places. By this pastime, Sri Gaurasundar demonstrated the beauty of the transcendental perspective of pure Vaishnavas in comparison to the mundanity of the notions of pure and impure that come from the elusive scriptures of smartas who are rigidly engrossed in ritualism. Shachi Devi, who was a connoisseur of transcendental spontaneous love, brought Nimāi down from that heap and got him to bathe. In due course, Nimāi had his sacred thread ceremony. Nimāi was then enrolled to study grammar in the school of the crest jewel of teachers, Gangaras Pandit, in Ganganagar, next to Sri Mayapur. The teacher was astonished by Nimai's wondrous intellectual capabilities. Nimāi would launch volleys of argumentative questions at everyone, regardless of whether they were junior or senior, and then defeat them. One day, Nimāi caught hold of his mother's feet and begged her not to eat grains on Ekadashi. One day, during this period, Jagannath Mishra had a dream that Gaurasundar would take sannyas in the future. And thus Mishra became very distressed. After some time, Jagannath Mishra left this world. Nimāi tried his best to console his mother. With their home in an impoverished state, due to the lack of money, Nimāi began acting out in various ways towards his mother, manifesting various pastimes of anger, thus nourishing the transcendental mellow of Vatsalya Ras. Then one day, hearing that they had absolutely no money in the home, he brought 2 tolas of gold from out of nowhere and gave it to his mother. Next, Sri Gaur Narayan desired to manifest his pastimes as a grihasta. So the matchmaker, Sri Vanamali, came to Shachi Devi, as if sent by fate, and proposed a marriage between Gaurasundar and the daughter of Vallabhacharya, Lakshmi Devi. On an auspicious day, at an auspicious moment, Gaura Lakshmi's wedding pastime was beautifully conducted. To be continued.
Yeah. And does this go throughout all of Mahaprabhu's, like all the way to the very end? Like, is this like a summary of Chaitanya Bhagavat all the way to the very end?
Yeah, and I'm not sure it's Chaitanya Bhagavat or Chaitanya Charitamrita, because I noticed, at least with the later section, it switches its title and becomes Sri Krishna Chaitanya after he takes sannyas. And then I've noticed that it's almost identical to even the chapter summaries of the BBT Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Oh, really?
Because those are based on the chapter summaries in the original Bengali CC, which I've heard were written by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay, so I wonder when the original like CC of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is published. Like, I wonder if they were putting it first in the periodicals. This is like the first preparation, and then it went into the book afterwards. I wonder. I'm just.
Yeah. I was singing that like the articles of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada were they were first published here in the newspaper. And then they would be chosen and published in the Gaudiya. So this is actually comes the first place some of these things were seen.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice if this was published as a separate book, all these summaries. There's like a ebook or something.
Yeah.
See that.
Yeah. An actual physical book would be like pretty big.
No, I'm talking about the Mahaprabhu pastimes.
Oh, the Mahaprabhu pastimes. Yeah. It's like a Leela summary. Yeah. So I'll read this section because it's again a whole bunch of names and a little bit, maybe a little bit tedious. Zoom this again.
It's nice we get to become familiar with all the names of all the associates of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And it's kind of a fun game trying to guess who's, like trying to see who's who.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's some names that we'll recognize. There's Param Gurudev again, Bihari Brahmachari. So, Shri Navadvīpa-dhāma Pracāriṇī Sabhā, 34th Annual Conference. Shripad Sundarananda Vidya Vinod B.A. Mahashay proposed to the Assembly that since the current General Secretary of the Sabha, the esteemed Jamindar of Sherpur, Maiman Singh, Rai Shriyut Radha Vallabh Chaudhary Bahadur, is unable to participate as needed due to his advanced age and the fact that he lives far away, it would be preferable that Kathak's renowned and accomplished attorney, Rai Shriyut Janakinath Bose Bahadur, who is also renowned throughout Bengal, assume a role as a secretary of Sri Dham Pracāriṇī Sabhā.
Oh, and just one thing, Śrīvāsa. So this is, I think you mentioned in the previous session we had, but this Navadvīpa-dhāma Pracāriṇī Sabhā that would happen every year after Gaur Purnima, it was 3 days long, was it?
3 or 5.
Oh, 3 or 5 days long. Okay. And would it start on Gaur Purnima day, or would it start the day after Gaur Purnima?
I think it was the day after Gaur Purnima.
Okay, and it'd go on for like 3 or 5 days. Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
and so then now we're getting a daily summary, like a daily whatever report of that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I don't think there was any clear mention of the exact span, how many days it was. It might have all been on one day.
Okay.
Yeah, there was mention of a festival. The festival of Gaur Purnima in total was 3 or 5 days.
Okay.
This might have all happened in one day, and they're just taking the time to chunk it out kind of like this across several days, the report of it.
I just saw a name that I saw Rukmini and Manjari's great-grandfather's name just now. Anyways, we'll get Professor S.N. Ghosh. That's Sujanananda Prabhu, we've read a lot about him. But yeah, Manjari's with us right now. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Acharya Shripad. Yeah,
Dandavat Pranam Sajan Maharaj. Haribo. Sorry.
Dandavat Maharaj. Yeah, she's told me about different books that her grandfather worked on.
Yeah, he's an editor of a magazine, wasn't he? What magazine was that? Anyways, she can let us know. I think he was the editor of the Vishuddha Chaitanya Vani, the Chaitanya Vani magazine of Srila Bhakti Madhava Prasad.
Acharya Trik, Kunj Bihari Vidyabhushan Prabhu, wholeheartedly supported this proposal, and everyone else followed suit, so it was accepted. Shripad Prakrit Bhakti Saranga Goswami Prabhu proposed that since Shriyut Dinanath Garai Mahashai has lent profuse support to the Sabha, both personally and through delegation, that he be inducted as a member of the Sabha. With Tridandipad Srimad Bhakti Pradeep Tirtha Maharaj's agreement, everyone agreed to his, Sri Dainika Nadīyā Mahashay's induction as a member of the Sabha. The following individuals were also inducted as members of the Sabha. Shriyut Ramanath Rai Mahashay, on the recommendation of Tridandipad Srimad Bhakti Hriday Ban Maharaj, and with the support of Shriyut Atindranath Bandyopadhyay. Shriyut Jayan Chandra Mahashay, on the recommendation of Tridandipad Srimad Bhakti Vivek Bharati Maharaj, and with the support of Dr. Dhirendranath Bandyopadhyay Mahashay. Shriyut Yatindranath Ghosh B.A. Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shripad Prakrit Bhakti Saranga Goswami Prabhu, and with the support of Shripad Sundarananda Vidyavinod Mahashay. Professor S.N. Ghosh M.A. Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shripad Kunj Bihari Vidyabhushan Prabhu, and with the support of Shriyut Satish Chandra Bandyopadhyay Mahashay.
And that's who I was talking about, by the way, everybody. Yeah, S.N. Ghosh, Sujanananda Prabhu.
So and every member needed 2 people to vouch for them. Shriyut Haripada Bandyopadhyay Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shripad Vinod Bihari Brahmachari Mahashay. Shriyut, oh, okay, I guess not everyone needed 2 people. If Param Gurudev vouched for someone, that was all it needed. Shriyut Upendranath Naskar Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shripad Sundarananda Prabhu and Shripad Aranya Maharaj. Shriyut Upendranath Mandal Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shriyut Atindra Bandyopadhyay and with Shripad Tirtha Maharaj's support. Shriyut Smarajit Kumar Chatropadhyay Mahashay, on the recommendation of Tridandipad Bharati Maharaj and Shripad Vinod Bihari Brahmachari Mahashay's support. Shriyut Charu Chandra Pal Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shriyut Kishori Mohan Pal Mahashay, and with the support of Shripad Sundarananda Vidyavinod Mahashay. Shriyut Kshetra Mohan Ganguly Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shriyut Akshay Kumar Gupta Mahashay, and with the support of Dr. Dhirendranath Bandyopadhyay Mahashay. Shriyut Akshay Kumar Gupta Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shripad Sundarananda Prabhu, and with the support of Tridandipad Ban Maharaj. Shriyut Pralad Chandra Garai Mahashay, on the recommendation of Shripad Prakrit Prabhu, and with the support of Tridandipad Giri Maharaj. Shriyut Shailendra Ganguly Mahashay, on the recommendation of Tridandipad Aranya Maharaj, and with Shriyut Yatindranath Ghosh Mahashay's support. Shriyut Panchanan Chattopadhyay, on the recommendation of Shriyut Atindriya Dasadikari, and with the support of Tridandipad Tirtha Maharaj.
And
16.
Panchanana was the personal servant, right, of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada? I think
Was
so.
he?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Shriyut Devendranath Kar Mahashay, on the recommendation of Tridandipad Aranya Maharaj, and with the support of Dr. Dhirendra Bandyopadhyay Mahashay. After that,
Śrīvāsa, I kind of forgot what this was all about. What were all these people?
they're being inducted as members of the Pracāriṇī Sabhā.
Okay, cool.
After that, Shriyut Sundarananda Vidyavinod Bihai Mahashay extolled a small portion of Acharya Trik Shripad Kunj Bihari Vidyabhushan Prabhu's endless glories on the behalf of Shri Navadvīpa-dhāma Pracāriṇī Sabhā, and offered his devoted respects at his feet. In this context, Shriyut Vidyavinod Mahashay said, "Today, on behalf of the Shri Dham Pracāriṇī Sabhā, I have been entrusted with the honor of glorifying this exalted personality. As I approach his feet, I doubt whether or not I would be capable of truly appreciating his endless glories, even upon taking millions and millions of births. If he mercifully conveys to us such awareness, then we may become acquainted with those glories. It would have been appropriate to entrust Shripad Ananta Vasudev Brahmachari Vidyabhushan B.A. Prabhu with this responsibility. If we approach Shripad Acharya Trik Prabhu with external vision, we may commit some grave offenses at his feet. Those who have gained the fortune of appreciating even just a small fraction of his glories will stand on the shore of his virtues in utter astonishment and say, 'Look at this shoreless, insurpassable, infinite ocean.' If I try for millions and millions of lifetimes, the hope of seeing even the shadow of the other side will just turn into futile fancy. Human language cannot describe his transcendental virtues. He is an aprakrit sahaj Vaishnav. Vaishnavism is his natural dharma. If I can obtain just a particle of dust from his feet, then my millions of lifetimes will have become worthwhile. He is the personified form of exemplary service to Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. He is giving his whole life by personal application of conduct, via body, mind, and words, teaching us how to serve Guru, how to serve Vaishnavas. Trying to describe his glories does not help him in any way. Rather, it helps us to advance some distance on the path toward auspiciousness. I sincerely pray at his feet that I may become capable of incessantly glorifying a small portion of his transcendental glories for millions and millions of births.
This is so fascinating because things really changed later on. Wow. Okay. Very, very good record.
Yeah. And if you read a Chintya Bheda, you might understand a little bit of the context of this, which is also interesting, but I don't want to get into that here. Srila Bhakti Puri Maharaj would say about Srila Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj that without the service of the blessings of Kunja Babu, Kunja Bihari Prabhu, no one can enter the Kunj of Prabhupada, Srila Saraswati Thakur. So he gave them all the opportunity to serve Prabhupada, brought a lot of them, organized Navadvīpa-dhāma. So definitely a very special personality. After this, Shripad Ananta Vasudev Brahmachari Vidyabhushan B.A. Mahashay, on the behalf of the Shri Navadvīpa-dhāma Pracāriṇī Sabhā, extended thanks to Calcutta University's former Vice Chancellor, the highly qualified Param Bhagavat Shriyuta Sir Dev Prasad Sarvadhikari M.A. LLD Mahashay, for the enthusiasm he has shown for the preaching of pure Sanatan Dharma, by inviting the devotees of the Calcutta Gaudiya Math to his home to hear Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Katha from them. Under Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj's guidance, the preachers of the Shri Vishwa Vaishnav Raj Sabha are preaching the message of Kali Yuga Bhavanavatari Shri Gaurasundar's ever auspicious compassion throughout the northwestern regions of India. All the respected individuals who lent special support to their efforts were given heartfelt thanks on behalf of the Shri Dham Pracāriṇī Sabhā by Chaitanyapad Srimad Bhakti Hriday Ban Maharaj, who mentioned their names one by one and described their willingness to serve. Several of them are named here as follows: Director of General Education on pension from the state of the Patiala Maharaj, Shri Lal Diwali Ram B.A., Sitapur's Executive Engineer, Mr. M.G. Sardana, Kanpur resident, the esteemed Sri Surendranath Sen and his worthy son, Dr. Sri Siddheshwar Sen, Jaipur resident, Rana Sahib, Shriyukta Sangrang Singha, and others. To be continued.
Śrīvāsa, Shripad Sajan Maharaj is asking if you could explain what Sundarananda Vidya Vinod meant when he was saying that Kunja Bihari Prabhu is an aprakrit sahaj Vaishnav. He's wondering, could you explain what that means? Aprakrit sahaj Vaishnav?
Yeah, this is an interesting topic. Could go on for a while. So Sahajiyas, I think we've all heard the term Sahajiya. There's different ways of translating it. Sahaj means natural. So generally, I try to translate it as a pseudo-spiritualist, or you can say a sentimentalist. But really, it's Srila Saraswati Thakur will, everywhere he'll put the word prakrit sahaja, so a mundane sentimentalist, because the pure devotee has sentiments also, real, natural, spontaneous sentiments. But those are aprakrit, supramundane. And he explains how prakrit and aprakrit, that which is mundane and that which is supramundane, can appear to be identical. They can look the same. The dham that we inhabit, looks pretty mundane with garbage all over it, all kinds of people, all kinds of advertisements. But it's simply a veil. The Pracāriṇī is right there. So it's the same thing with the Sahajya. There's, I think it's the third Chaitanyashtakam of Srila Rupa Goswami. He uses this word in reference to Mahaprabhu, that Mahaprabhu is relishing this Prakrit Sahaj Ananda. So the Sahajyas used this as proof that, look, Mahaprabhu was also a Sahajya, means he was practicing tantric sex with a love partner. Rupa Goswami was doing this with Mirabai. They have names of all the Goswamis and all their partners. So it's a very distasteful kind of topic, because they've taken something that's very pure, something that Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis, they left everything. They left all sense enjoyment. They absorbed themselves wholly, entirely in this realm of pure practice on the spiritual plane. There wasn't anything they were mixing in. There's nothing that the mundane plane can offer energy-wise to such a practitioner. The Bahiranga Shakti is very minuscule and inferior, trivial, compared to the Antaranga Shakti and the Ananda that comes from the Antaranga Shakti, from the inner plane. And there's so many examples of that we can even see in our own lives. The enjoyment that we derive from physical enjoyment is quite trivial compared to the more subtle sentiments of love and other achievements like that. So this you'll see this Prakrit Sahaj pops up in different places. That the true Vaishnava is actually an Prakrit Sahaj. It was referred to. It wasn't translated. It was referred to earlier though. Shachimata is also an Prakrit Sahajya. She is experiencing completely spontaneous, natural, seemingly mundane emotions as befitting a mother in her Vatsalya Ras with Nimāi.
So it's really important to qualify the word Sahajya when we're using it, to say Prakrit or Aprakrit.
Yeah, because the gopis are Sahajya, Aprakrit Sahaj, right? It's what we want. We want that. We want to go beyond ritualism. We don't want to end up smartas. We don't want to stay stuck in this world. Even the rituals that we do, that we use to worship Thakurji, that are meant to take us away from material consciousness and focus on the Lord. If we become too absorbed in those, then we can end up just focusing on those and thinking those are the topmost, and then eventually end up like a smarta, a ritualist, an orthodox, and forget about the heart of things. So you see, actually, throughout Mahaprabhu's pastimes, he's pulling everyone away from that. When he's on the way to Gaya, he gets a headache and he drinks the foot bath water of a Brahmin to show people, how worshipful the Brahmins are, a real Brahmin, a real devotee, and that water can cure any ailment. Even Bhagavan himself honors that. But as soon as he goes to Gaya and he meets Ishwarapuri, Gaya is the place of Karmakanda, and Mahaprabhu shows that there's a transition from Karmakanda, or from ritualism, into Shuddha Bhakti. And after that, he doesn't give so much regard to smarta practices. When he comes back to Navadvīpa, then he's focused totally on kirtan. And then when he takes sannyas, sannyas is also like it's part of the varnashram dharma, but it's also kind of becoming paramahamsa. It's kind of going beyond the rules and regulations. And then he, through Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, he cuts down so many of the conceptions of the smartas. Having Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu throwing rice at each other. This was orchestrated to, like, you know, Prasad is transcendental. He's constantly elevating people to a transcendental perspective. See the transcendental perspective. Don't get stuck in the mundane. And these things are discussed here a lot because there's a lot of tension still with Saraswati Thakur and Prabhupada and the Smartas at this time.
Right, that's great. Gives a lot more perspective now when we see that word. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Maharaj. Okay, so the next is festival at Sri Sri Chaitanya Math. Since last Wednesday, okay, so this might answer your question from before. Since last Wednesday, there was a grand celebration at Sri Yogapith, spanning 3 days. The day before the festival, the day before yesterday, there was a festival at Rajapatan Sri Chaitanya Math. In the morning, there was Sankirtan, Ishtagoshti, and at midday, the distribution of many wonderful varieties of Mahaprasad. From afternoon until 11 p.m. at night, Chudandi Swami Bhakti Prakāśa Aranya Maharaj and Chudandi Swami Bhakti Srimad Bhakti Vaibhav Sagar Maharaj gave lectures on Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. Okay. Okay, and I think last time we didn't have a very long news section. This one is a bit longer.
Yeah, and last time it was very tame. I think this one's a lot more intense.
Yeah, brace yourselves. There's sometimes pretty intense stuff in this. So local news. Fire. The night before last, a fire burnt to ash several houses near the Gauri courthouse. Yesterday, a house in Surupganj suddenly caught fire. 2 houses were partially burnt. Cholera death. The day before yesterday, a pilgrim from Medinipur district, who had come down with cholera, came from Navadvīpa town to see Kaji's samadhi. Seeing the pilgrim in this state, Sri Chaitanya Math's famous homeopathic doctor, Shriyukta Shyam Sevak Brahmachari, diligently treated him, administered medicines, etc. Despite the treatments, the pilgrim attained the Sri Dham yesterday. Several devoutly religious individuals performed his rites on the banks of the Bhagirathi. Atrocities of the rogues. Several rogues from Navadvīpa have become infuriated by seeing the vast circulation of Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa. So yesterday, they mercilessly attacked an innocent newspaper vendor. Police authorities overseeing the peace should pay attention to these issues.
Wow, so the Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa is very controversial, huh?
Yeah, even the vendors sometimes were getting attacked. Yeah. Compounder's error causes mishap. Okay, this is kind of heartbreaking. One edible medicine and one massage medicine was prescribed to Gauri High Street's Shriyukta Gyanendranath Ghosh's 3-year-old granddaughter. Due to the compounder's error, the label for the edible medicine was on the massage medicine, so the little girl was fed the massage medicine. When the error was revealed, the patient was induced to vomit and is now fine. Okay, not so bad. She's fine. The girl is fine.
That's such a random little piece of news in there.
Yeah, there was another one where though it was somebody died because of a similar mistake like that. So it was
wow,
yeah.
The label person must feel pretty bad.
Ordered to hang. This past February 27th, 29th, an appalling murder was tried in the court of Jessore Session Judge Mr. R.C. Sain. The accused, Kaitab Ali Mondal, confessed both in the judge's court and the lower court. Though the jury found Kaitab Ali guilty, they asked the judge to be somewhat compassionate in determining his punishment. The judge, however, has sentenced the accused to death. Shriyukta Nalinikant Majumdar was engaged by the government to defend the accused. Reports of the murder state that last July 28, 1927, at around 10 a.m., Kaitab Ali used a weapon to cut the throat of 60-year-old Chamira Mandal. Supposedly, Chamira had been shouting various insults about Kaitab Ali's wife and mother-in-law. Kaitab Ali was so offended by these remarks that he found his chance and on the aforementioned date, carried out the murder in a state of rage. The accused Ketab Ali and Chamira were from Banagraham. Misconduct in Kashidham. Reports state that the other day in the morning, the bloody head of a pig was thrown in front of the mosque at Simon Chauhata in Srikashipuri, one of the 7 liberation-bestowing holy cities. Both Hindus and Muslims were stunned to see this pig head laying in front of a place of worship. In Varanasi, relations between Hindus and Muslims are very congenial. The Muslims do not mistrust the Hindus at all. We do not believe any well-meaning person committed this cruel act. Just thinking of how many ways the wicked try to provoke friends against each other causes the body to horripilate. So I've heard that certain intelligence agencies were involved early on. British and even American agencies were involved early on in India's the political issues and stuff that were going on and being formed in India 100 years ago. And there's reports of there's another story about there's a place where Hindus would do Nagar Sankirtan all the time, no problem. All of a sudden, the Muslims freak out that they're doing Nagar Sankirtan in front of a tiny little mosque, and they attack the Hindus. But then people recall seeing a strange Muslim person and a government employee, and then these people have been provoking people, riling people up. So there was like agents around provoking political turmoil amongst the Hindus and Muslims.
So weaken them, huh?
Yeah, and
easier
there's the Hindu students in Calcutta were particularly targeted because they were a powerful and kind of feared movement. Yeah, it's interesting.
Wow. Demons.
Assault of a constable. European culprit given penalty. A European engine driver by the name of Mr. Wakefield has been charged with assaulting a constable named Rajaram. Mr. Wakefield has been fined 50 taka. 15 of those have been given to the plaintiff. Gruesome riot between Tata workers, 50 casualties. There has been news of a gruesome riot in Bombay's Khandala on March 6. Several workers of the Tata company started fighting. This quarrel turned into a terrible riot. The cause of the fight is still unknown. Reports state that rioters set fire to several homes, which led to many homes being burnt to ashes. Casualties will not be less than 50. Devastating fire in Ellore. There has been news of a devastating fire in Krishna district's Ellore. Reports state that 2,000 homes have been reduced to ashes and 10,000 people left without shelter. They are almost all laborers. There were heavy winds when the fire started. As a result, the fire spread within a very short time. Within 2 hours, everything had been burnt. Despite numerous efforts, it was not possible to extinguish the fire. Many valuables were burnt. One house had 10,000 taka in notes. That too has been burnt. Several people were burnt. Of them, one has died in hospital. He had burns all over his body. The municipality's chairman and government employees have come together to collect rice. Those who are utterly helpless will be provided with food. State of Calcutta due to garbage collectors' strike. Calcutta's garbage collectors' strike is going on as before. Every day, garbage accumulates on the roads. It is rotting everywhere and releasing foul stench. The chairman and secretary of the Garbage Collectors Union have sent a letter together. Therein, they have said that though it is their duty to continue the strike as a matter of principle, they are prepared to have a conversation with the corporation for a resolution that respects their demands. Yesterday, Wednesday, in the afternoon, there was a meeting of the mayor and councillors in the mayor's quarters at the municipal offices to discuss the garbage collectors' strike. Many Congress workers were also present on special invitation. Notable among them were the Bengal Provincial Congress Secretary, Shukta Kiran Shankar Rai, Shukta Rajendra Dev, Shukta Hemanta Kumar Bose, Shukta Amarendra Nath Bose, representative of the North Calcutta Congress Committee, Shukta Vinay Krishna Bose, Shukta Kalipada Bose, Middle Calcutta Congress Committee, Shukta Purushottam Raya of Boro Bazar's Congress Committee, and South Calcutta Congress Committee Secretary Shukta Lalit Mohan Sain. Mayor Shukta Yatindra Mohan Sain Gupta visited the garbage collectors' slums and spoke with many of the residents. There is hope that as a result of all these meetings and discussions, a resolution will quickly be reached. Howrah, disturbance in railway workshop. There are reports that at the Howrah EI rail signal workshop, a Punjabi brutally injured several Muslim workers, and the English foreman present at the scene made no effort to stop the violence. Bengali Hindus and Muslims are concerned that this is a sign that they are slowly going to be driven out of the factory. However, when it comes to pay, the local workers receive 12 annas in hand every day, and the Punjabi receive 3 taka. There is no saying where this issue will culminate.
That's so unfair. How many annas is there in one taka?
16.
Okay. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Untimely death. Lalmonir Hat is a junction on the East Bengal Rail. Reports from March 6 state that a coolie, while working on a portion of the rail line where cargo trains are packed, was hit by a shunting engine and died an untimely death. Despite receiving treatment at the local hospital, the coolie has died from this accident, obviously. Deadly fire in Rangoon. Kemenbhain Soleman Company's rice mill caught fire. The whole mill and all its equipment have been destroyed as a result. The good news is that the go-down was saved. Cause of the fire is still unknown. An estimated loss of 3 lakh taka has been incurred. Accident in Dhaka. Dhaka, March 5th report. There has been a worrisome accident in the Bangla Bazar neighborhood. A gentleman from Parasganj was driving a vehicle very fast on the Bangla Bazar road. A 10-year-old Muslim boy was crossing the road when the car suddenly ran him over. The boy was gruesomely injured as a result. He was immediately taken to Metford Hospital, but died on the way. The 4th annual Charkha Spinning Wheel Festival has been put on successfully by the efforts of the local independence movement. In the morning, the festival was commenced with traditional music and prayers. Several cotton spinners were spinning cotton on 25 wheels all day and night without rest. In the afternoon, under the chairmanship of Shukta Haridayal Nag, there was a conference. Shukta Suresh Chandra Gupta spoke at the conference. He said that the popularization of khadi was essential for the foreign goods boycott. In the evening, Shukta Kshitish Chandra Das Gupta of the Khadi Pratishthan gave a lecture with the aid of a slideshow. Bengal's textile industry was once well respected. The speaker illustrated this at length with pictures. Acharya Prafulla Chandra, Dr. Prafulla Chandra Ghosh, Suresh Chandra Banerjee, and others sent letters wishing for the success of the Charkha festival. The letters were read aloud in the assembly. Strike in Lilua. This past March 15th, because 4 workers were fired, 14,000 of Lilua's workers went on strike from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Solidarity! Previously, a few other workers had been fired. The workers say that the management's decisions regarding these 6 individuals was unjust. Besides that, another reason for their agitation is that European workers force a variety of bribes from the Indian workers and collect money from them with threats of violent force. Those darn white people up to their old dirty tricks again.
Yeah.
Reports are that they have resolved to continue various forms of satyagraha, holding firm to truth, activism, until proper legal action is taken against them, the European workers. Grand wedding arrangements. On the night of March 6, Sir Tukoji Rao arrived in Calcutta for a ceremony and then traveled to Baroha Palace by motor car. The chief minister of Indore met with him on the morning of March 7th. Baroha is located 40 miles from Indore. Sir Tukoji Rao's palace there in Baroha is being decorated for the wedding. However, the wedding date is not yet fixed. The wedding will be celebrated with great pomp. Around 50,000 people are to be invited, and there will be electric light decorations, music, and a procession with elephants. Special trains will operate from Indore to Baroha, and photographs of the wedding ceremony will be taken to send to the bride's home in America. This is an ongoing story that appears. Yeah, maybe I'll wait till next time to reveal the bride's name.
I'm curious also, like how, like did Srila Bhakti Puri Goswami Maharaj manage this part of the magazine, or did he, that was probably given to somebody else to manage this, and maybe he was like, he would approve it, maybe. I'm just guessing. And like, where did he get the news from? Like, did people directly give the news to him, or did he take it from other newspapers, or?
Yeah, sometimes he mentions, I do think it was all Srila Bhakti Puri Maharaj. I think he was given full responsibility for this, for curating the whole thing, because you start to see there's a cohesive voice, kind of, you know, these stories are chosen, kind of, you know, curated to show, like there's often a lot of stories about motor vehicle accidents, and so they were kind of a new thing, these motor cars, and there weren't a lot of driving regulations or safety restrictions. And it was kind of really horrific, you know. It wasn't really an issue before to have these just totally deadly accidents. Somebody just get, you know, totally slaughtered by a vehicle in the middle of the road. That was a new thing. Now we take it for granted, right? You know, so it's like, so there's certain articles that are kind of calling into question the advancements of technology, you know, like, okay, it's good on one hand, but then like, you know, we have to be careful. So yeah, I think it's all curated quite cohesively, and I think it's all by him.
Okay. Yeah, I like all the stuff about the workers' rights.
Yeah, a lot about that. Yeah. Okay. And then there's random musings like this one, which is interesting. Earth's inner dimensions. What is going on inside the Earth? The question comes to mind easily. To answer it, we need to know a few scientific facts beforehand. If we drill a hole straight through to the center of the Earth, the depth of that hole will be 3,963 miles. We rise 1 degree for every 24 miles. So it is easy to infer what the temperature will be after 3,963 miles. At these degrees of intense heat, does the normally hard matter inside the Earth not only melt, but exist in gaseous states as well? The intense pressure inside the Earth does not allow the hard matter to turn into vapor. Instead, it remains in a liquid state. Why does it remain in a liquid state instead of turning into vapor, despite the intensity of heat? Fundamental principles of science dictate that if there is intense pressure along with intense heat, a hard substance will not turn into vapor, but will remain in a liquid state. The internal pressure of the Earth is not less than the atmospheric pressure. Therefore, the pressure and heat inside the Earth keep the substances there in a liquid state instead of them turning into vapor. There is a mine in Brazil that is 13 miles deep. Today, this is the deepest hole in the Earth.
Very interesting. Getting into science.
Yeah, this and some other references I found suggest that, like there's an article by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur talking about the Earth rotating around the sun. So contrary to some devotees who believe that the Earth is flat, and the descriptions in Bhagavatam are to be taken literally, there is some indication that this was not the conception of the Gaudiya Math, that there's more to this. That
And these are published. These were published in the Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśas?
Well, the other one I'm referring to was in the Gaudiya, this article. So there's different ways to interpret that.
Wow, so some more material to add into the debate.
Yeah. But we'll address all that at another time. It's a big topic.
Wow, it seems like you're gonna get embroiled in some some things, Śrīvāsa, right?
It's fun. It's a great discussion. It's a necessary discussion to have because there's so much really so much knowledge there in Bhagavatam in that cosmology section. And if we just look at it with our material understanding, we don't look at, other forms of praman, anuman, and other types of reasoning, we get a very limited picture.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai Ho, that was great. That was so much fun.
Yeah, always fun.
And yeah, I just think, anyways, I'm just repeating myself, but just imagine being during that time, every day, a new issue. That must have been the most exciting part of the day, is like when you get to when you get to get the new issue of Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa every single day. My God. I wonder how many, is there, like I wonder how many issues, like how wide it was spread.
Circulation. There might be some statistics about that. I haven't seen an actual count, but there was some mention of, I haven't seen an actual count yet of the circulation.
And I wonder, like, was it distributed in Krishnanagar, and like how far did it reach?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was printed in Krishnanagar.
Oh, okay, so it must have been distributed in Krishnanagar.
Bhagavad Press, in Krishnanagar. Yeah.
Be interesting to see the whole, I bet we could find YouTube videos on this, just the whole process for printing magazines at that time. I have pictures of the printing press machine in Bhagavad Press, I think it was. I can show that later. I have to find them, but it's on display at the in Kolkata at what is it? Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya Math. They have the Chaitanya Museum there, and they have the whole the press machines that they used for printing these magazines.
Oh, right. I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was the press. It says Bhagavad Press on the bottom of the these pages, the last page. You can't see it on this one. I think I cropped it, but it says who is one devotee who was printed by at Bhagavad Press in Krishnanagar.
And just I'm curious, like what the whole process is like typesetting, the arranging the letters and everything like that, because that was all done manually. There was no, right?
Yeah, amazing, and it's so much room for error. So like, typesetting each one by hand, but they were so careful, so meticulous. Very rare I find a typo.
Can you imagine? And this is all done every single day without fail. They didn't have time to like check things. Everything they wrote had to go immediately.
Bhukti Maharaj tells a story of how he wanted to publish a magazine one time before Gaur Purnima, a short notice within like 10 days or something. So he compiled all the material, brought it to his Gurudev, and his Gurudev started proofreading it. And Bhukti Maharaj said that there was just red everywhere, just corrections everywhere. And Shri Purush gave it back to him, and he was like shocked. Bhukti Maharaj was shocked. And Shri Maharaj said, if there is even one single error, then the whole publication is useless.
Oh my God. Wow.
That was his standard.
Wow.
If you get one word wrong, one letter wrong, it changes the word, changes the meaning of the word, it changes the meaning of the sentence. It could,
Wow.
anyways.
And didn't Srila Bhakti Puri Goswami Maharaj, he did all the writing work and all this work at night, and he was engaged in other services during the day.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I remember
Yeah.
reading that in A Life of Devotion, that like during the day he like had all these different responsibilities, and he was doing this and that. And then it was at nighttime when everybody went to sleep, when everything was quiet and there's no disturbance. And then he would stay up all night, like doing all the writing and all that kind of stuff. But
And there's a conversation, right, that he something about it was like being difficult to chant. I heard this, to chant a lot and do all this, and Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur just told him to sleep less. Was it?
I don't know that one, but that's really
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah.
So definitely transcendental personalities. It's not possible for a human body to have that kind of go through all that.
Yeah, it's
I hope.
extraordinary.
All right, so should we end with we can do a little kirtan and then should I sing Mahamantra, or is there do you have any ideas? Anything?
I think my mantra is good.
Okay. All right, 1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Jai Sachinanda, Jai Gaura Hari, Sachinanda, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Sachinanda, Gaura Hari, Sachinanda, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari Radhe, Jai Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari Radhe, Jai Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Jai Swapashara Srila Prabhupada, Swapashara Srila Prabhupada, Jai Bhakti Pramod Srila Puri Goswami, Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami, Jai Shri Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami, Bhakti Pramod Puri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Oh Jai Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jai Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jai Guru Deva. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur, Hari Bol. Shinitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Śrīvāsa, would you like to do Jai Dvani?
Sure. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhare Shri Shri Radha Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Shri Shri Radha Bino Bihari Radha Ramana Bihari Ju Ki Jai Jai Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Bhaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Saparshad Jagaguru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Mahabhagavad Pravar Shri Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Saptam Goswami Satchidananda Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Gauri Vedanta Acharya Shri Baldev Vidya Bhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Traya Ki Jai Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiv Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shri Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodara Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय नदिया प्रकाश श्री सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय श्री नवदीपायपुर धाम की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गो गोवर्धन द्वादश श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय राधा कुंज श्याम कुंज यमुना गंगा भक्ति तुलसी देव की जय सर्वपिष्ट प्रदाता श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय सर्व विघ्न विनाशंकारी श्री नृसिंह भगवान की जय भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय आकर मठराज श्री चैतन्य मठ की जय श्री दैनक नदिया प्रकाश की जय श्री प्रणवानंद ब्रह्मचारी प्रत्न विद्यालंकर प्रभु की जय श्री भागवत प्रेस की जय जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय समागत भक्त वृंद की जय श्रीताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
Vancha kalpatarubhyashta kripa sindubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat pranams. Right. So if anybody wants to read any of these articles, they're all being published on nadiyaprakāśa.com. NADIYAPRAKASH.com. nadiyaprakāśa.com. And also, I highly recommend everybody go to bigdrum.us. That is Śrīvāsa's website, where he's always, there's lots of very interesting material. All of it's published in English for the first time, most all of it.
Awesome.
And and it's all really, anyways, if you want to receive that in your inbox, go to that website, bigdrum.us. Lots of articles written by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and by Srila Bhaktivedanta Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and many other acharyas, and from all places. So go to bigdrum.us. Śrīvāsa doesn't like to promote himself, so I have to do it for him. So thank you so much, Śrīvāsa. That was a real treat. And this is going to be every Sunday now. So
yes.
Yeah. You don't need to wonder when it's going to be anymore. It's very easy. Every Sunday. Please join us. Right. Haribol. Oh, wait, let's see. Okay, Dandavat Pranams, Nuri Hari Prabhu and Pavatarani Mataji. and of course Śrīvāsa. And on YouTube and Facebook, let's see, there's Raseshwari Mataji, Kishore Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Rup Manjari Didi, Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj, Vidyalala Sadidi, Vilas Manjari Didi, Amit Tandekar, Kishore Prabhu, Ganga Mataji, Vishaka Didi, and many other devotees, but I can't, if you write a comment, then I can see your name. Otherwise, you're just a number. But yeah, thank you everybody so much for joining, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Oh, and tomorrow is going to be the Rays of the Harmonist Ishtagoshti. We're going to go over an article by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Pratishta Parivarjan, relinquishing the desire for Pratishtasha Parivarjan, relinquishing the desire for Pratishta. So that will be at 7 a.m. the normal time, same time we started this video. We'll to have that Rays of the Harmonist Ishtagoshti. I sent the email to everybody who subscribed on raysoftheharmonist.com. Everybody who subscribes, they will have received it at 7 a.m. And I also made an ebook version of it, so that you could, and so if you're subscribed to that and you got that in your mailing list, please read it in advance, so that when we get together tomorrow, we'll be able to discuss each section. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Jai Shri Radhe. Hari Bol.